Understand. Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on board. I did very short notice, so it's great. So I'm just going to tell everyone, who you are, how we've been working together for the last 3 or 4 years with the books that I help people write and edit, and then you take over with the designing, with uploading on Kindle, doing the cover design, formatting, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So most people only know that, there's the writing bit, which is the most important to them, obviously.
Yes.
But as important as the writing is what comes after the writing, which is the editing and then actually getting it ready for a reader to, pick it up from a bookshelf or online, because that's where all the visual, that's where all the appeal, the marketing, everything comes in. And that's just as important as actually writing the book.
Absolutely, because people do make that first judgment of a book by its cover.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly. And that's what you had to do.
Mm.
So with the books we've done, and you've helped with formatting them and putting them uploading them on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to tell our readers a little bit about the process and what they should or shouldn't do when they're, because Kindle says that, or that you can do it yourself. But I
Mm-hmm.
know quite a lot of people come to me after they fail quite a few times, trying to upload things, formatting goes messy, images and illustrations don't turn up right, it gets all skewed, and then they come to someone like me or you. So what is it, the things that people need to look out for and how it's all done?
Okay, so in regards to the to an ebook, there's two different types of ebooks. One is a static flow, and the other one is a flowable version. Now, the flowable version is the best option if you can, because that allows the reader to be able to enlarge their text. So if you've ever read a book and it starts getting a bit late at night and you want to make the text a bit bigger, then it'll automatically reflow those pages. If you have images set throughout your book, you can't do that, because you can't have a flowable book, because if you enlarge the text, then those images will stay there and then they won't be attached to the right section of the story. So you'll end up having to have a static flow.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And also the problem with the static flow is that it's static flow books aren't available on all types of readers. So you can only use those on the more common, more popular and newer models of readers. So I've got an old Kindle. My Kindle doesn't even allow for images.
Okay.
So keep that in mind when you are putting your book out, because if it's a book that you want to reach heaps and heaps and heaps of people, then if you can do a version that can survive without the images, then that's a good option and it'll give you more reach.
So when you say images, does that also include tables and diagrams and infographics?
Yes, absolutely.
So a lot of business books now need those because they want to show people, what the different stages are, or they want to put in mind maps or diagrams.
Mm-hmm.
And when people write memoirs, they want to put in photographs because
Yep.
obviously it's relevant. So what would you suggest then? That they don't put in the photographs, or they do the static flow?
No, depending on how they want to put the photos. When I did my memoirs book,
Yeah.
I did a set of pages in the middle of the book. I can actually find the images. Okay, so I did a whole bunch of pages in the middle of the book that had photos.
Okay.
Now, those photos aren't then, it's not important where in the story they fall. So in a flow, automatic flow book, the text can get bigger, and those images will just appear somewhere around the middle.
Okay, so that doesn't disturb. You can still do the.
You can still do the flow, but if I had an image that specifically belonged to a specific piece of text in the story, then yeah, you doing the actual flow is quite different, and it, yeah, in most cases it doesn't work, or it needs some complicated formatting.
What about the font, and who chooses the font, and do you do that, or does
The client chooses the font. I do give some suggestions. There are probably 5 or 6 different types of fonts that Amazon likes to use. You can, and I say this very loosely, you can use any font in the entire world. But Amazon does actually recommend that you stick with a bunch of fonts that are common on pretty much every single device. And that gives you, there's, like I said, there's 5 or 6 different types, and they're all nice and clear, they're easy to read, and they give you a bit of variety as well.
And is there a size limitation as to number of words or pages or anything on when you're uploading as an ebook? Like it could be as little as 10 or as many as 500 pages?
Absolutely. You can have a single page document if you really wanted to, or you can be thousands and thousands of pages if you want. There's no limitation.
Okay. And then when we come to cover design, because you're a graphic artist and a graphic designer, illustrator, and which is very, very handy. Not all graphic designers are illustrators and artists. And for those of you listening to this is Andy's memoir. Don't Wait for the Green Light, with her illustration. It's a fantastic book, hilarious, and it's an incredible book. You really should download and read this. I've had lots of fun editing this book. So for our listeners, what would you say when it comes to creating covers? What are the basic concepts that they must keep in mind when they're looking to design a cover? So, they will come up with a brief for you, or, they may have specific photographs if it's a memoir that they want to put on there. So what would you suggest?
Probably the first thing is to have a little bit of a search through Amazon or even in Google Images and have a look at different types of book covers and see what appeals to you. Because everyone's got different ideas as to what looks good. Then some of the other features are make sure that the name, whatever you put underneath as the main cover of the book, that you can have a very, very easy to read name, so that the actual title is nice and clear. It's great if you're going to have a picture of yourself or of some people, but you don't want it to be so big or to take up so much of the space that the text is going to go right across the face and detract from that. If you're going into print, keep your thoughts open on the fact that you're going to have your ISBN on the back, and there is a very specific place for that and a specific size. And also keep an eye out that you will want to put a little bit of a description on there as well. And then do remember that if your book is going to be fat enough, have I got that up the right? Whoop, up the wrong way. That yeah, that if you're going to wrap the image design around the whole book, that yeah, keep an eye on what is going to go on the spine, so that when it's sitting in the library, because I hope that everyone does get to the library, that it is easy to see what the title is of the book.
So when, obviously, if it's just going to be a Kindle one, you need only the front cover, whereas if it's
Yep.
you put it up, upload it as a hard paperback, then it needs the spine and the, and Kindle suggests certain sizes.
Yes, it does. It does have specific sizes. It pretty much any. I think it's about a 6:4 ratio. So it's like your normal. If you pick up pretty much any book, say like 5 inches by 8 inches, it'll be the right sort of dimensions. But once you're ready to go ahead, I can give you exact dimensions to use.
And do you have anything else like to talk about when designing covers? Do you have any preferences for color schemes, or of illustrations versus photographs, or merging the two, or anything like that? Or
No, it does. It all comes down to your personal preference and also what the book is about. So do try and keep it relatable to what the book is about, because people are going to they're going to see the cover first. They're going to judge your book by its cover, so they will look at it. I've personally had some questions asked about my book, whether it was aimed at kids, because it was it's a cartoony type of a look, but no, it's a fun and sort of a humorous book, which is why it's got that appearance to it. But obviously, if you have a cartoony type look and you've got a very serious business book, it's not going to quite gel. So yeah.
Last final question is, when people come to you, at what stage do they come to you? Do they come to you with the final manuscript, or everything in the book has to be just so, and you will format it and upload it? Or tell us about that.
You can come to me at any point. I can, if you're writing, most people are writing their in a Word document, or even if you're using Google Docs, you can send me that file and I can start the formatting process even while it's still being edited. So basically what I can do is I can set up the style sheets and then send you back that formatted document. You can finish going through, you and your editor can finish going through and making your changes. Then when you send me the final copy, I can then suck it into the right, into my right software, and half the work is already done.
Oh, okay. So that's something new, because I've always come to you once the manuscript is finished. So you're saying that even at the start or midway through, we can come to you.
I can set up the style sheet, and you can, as long as you work on that same file that I sent you, with the style sheet already done, then yeah.
What happens to because when I edit, I do a lot of track changes and stuff on the document, which then has to be cleaned up. So what happens?
Yep, that's fine, because in the formatting I ignore any changes that have been crossed out, and it only takes the final approved changes.
Oh, really? Okay. So that means that even with the book cover, we shouldn't really wait till the end of till we finish writing. We should come with a brief for the cover while we're in the writing process, so that you can get
Absolutely. Working on the book cover is a good thing to put through. So you, as a writer, you can put the manuscript through to the editor and give them the time to go through it. At the same time, I can be working on the book cover and getting the file formatted ready for you, so that once all the editing is finished, and the manuscript is ready to go ahead, we've got everything in place, and it's not such a big
Yes,
wait.
the process is not so long and drawn out. Yes.
Exactly. We can have multiple people working on everything at the same time.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what makes it really, that's easy, because writing is such a long process, and that's what people get scared about. Like, it's, they think it's going to be years and years before they can get their books out. But I think, if we start out, say, 90 days even to write, edit, and publish, I think it's doable.
Oh yes, oh definitely.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Andy, thank you so much. I think our listeners may have more questions, which they will probably post below. And Andy's reachable. I will put Andy's details down in the comments below. And if you have any questions, then just reach out to either of us.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Bye.